before the public. We know that the public already knows that these people are liars, particularly the person of Comrade Adams Oshomole.
Yes.
Comrade Adams Oshomole, if he says three things, at least two of those three things are lies. And the last one is half truth. So he does not have the capacity to tell the truth. I repeat, Comrade Adams Aliu Oshomole does not have the capacity to tell the truth. He only tells the truth if it is convenient. Once it's a little bit inconvenient to tell the truth, he lies immediately. And what worries me about the man is because this man is over 70 years old. If somebody in his 30s or 40s or 20s is lying, trying to find his way up, it's not good, but at least you will understand that, oh, maybe the person is just trying to find daily bread.
Yes.
But Oshomole has been chairman of NLC, has been governor of a state for 8 years, has been national chairman of the APC before Obazee dethroned him, and then he is now a senator for Edo North. He cannot tell me, unless he has been very, irresponsible with managing his resources. He cannot tell me that he doesn't have food to eat.
Hi.
So if you have food that you can eat, you are healthy, you are well, you are 75 years old, you still be lying? Are you not worried about the hereafter? We who are in our late 40s, early 50s, we're already saying that we have spent more than half of our lives.
Yes.
And we are now telling God and Lord, whatever will make me miss the path to eternal redemption, let me not do, help me to rise above it. Not to talk of somebody who is 75 years old. It is sad that if a 75 years old man is talking, you are looking and checking. Is he telling the truth? Is he lying?
Yes.
It's unfortunate. At 75, by the grace of Almighty God, I don't want to. I used to have a landlady in Lagos. Those days in my early years in Lagos. She used to visit me sometimes, maybe at the end of the year or something. A very responsible woman who had worked with Cadbury PLC and retired. I think she was an accountant. So she was the owner of the house I was living in Lagos. And then she would visit me sometimes and we'll have conversations in my living room. And then she always used to say something to me. She said, my son, I know how old I am now. She was probably in her late 70s at that time. Anything that will prevent me from entering into eternal rest and eternal redemption, I don't want to do it. Anything that will prevent me from making heaven and entering into eternal, because she was a Christian, I don't want to do it. But unfortunately, the likes of Oshomole, I think they believe they are going to be in this life forever. So they just open their mouth and say whatever they like. You open your mouth and say that thugs are the best people that can collect revenue for a state. You say, who says that Tony Kabaka is a thug? Who does not know that Tony Kabaka is a thug? Everybody knows.
Yes.
Even the BBC did a story on him.
Yes.
The British Broadcasting Corporation did a story on him where he confirmed to the international community that he was a cultist.
Yes.
And that he was a gang leader. And that he was a thug. That if you search your internet now, you can get that report and play for your audience.
I have the clip right here with me. It's there my phone. I want to delete it. It's there my phone.
So what are we saying? And then you engage that person, Atalakpa Recovery Limited. You give him a letter from the EIRS, Edo State Internal Revenue Service, and make him the chief revenue collector on behalf of government, and you say you have not handed over the government to thugs and criminals, and then you as a former governor and as a sitting senator, you will sit on international television and try to provide some defense for that irresponsible behavior. Who does that at 75? Does Oshomole not look at his mates? Does he not look at Ambode of Lagos? Does he not look
Fashola.
at Babatunde Raji Fashola? Do you
Yes.
hear? Do you hear Babatunde Raji Fashola opening his mouth carelessly?
Mm-mm.
Let's come to Edo State. Does he not look at Lucky Gbenadion?
Yes.
Where have you ever heard Lucky Gbenadion opening his mouth carelessly since he left as governor? Does he not look at people like Chief John Odige Oyegun, who was also a national chairman of the APC
Yes.
after he was governor? Where do you ever hear him opening his mouth irresponsibly? Even Obazee that just left office 100 days ago, can you not see how he has carried himself with rigor and dignity?
Yes.
Can you not see that he instead of immediately after office, he has thrust himself into seeking knowledge and taking care of himself, of his health? But Oshomole, his avarice knows no bounds. He is ready to lie even to 80 years old. It is unfortunate. It is unfortunate. And I do not say this to cast aspersion on him. I say this as some form of advice to him that he's old enough to be my father.
Yes.
He's old enough to be my father. I don't think I'm older than all his children. How can my father now that gave birth to me be telling lies on national TV? Is irresponsible, is bad. So we want to advise Comrade Adams Oshomole, whether we like it or not, if you bring out the history of Edo State, his name is there, his photograph is there as a one-time governor of Edo State. So he's our collective liability. So all this misbehavior rubs off on us as Edo people. So we want to advise him, Daddy, stop lying. Stop this irresponsible behavior. Stop saying that you should go and kill Abba's father and mother. If they say such a thing where you are, you should be the one that will say, no, don't do such a thing. You should be the voice of reason. You should be the voice of truth. You should take some leave from chasing your personal interest and personal benefits. For once, let the people thrive. You cannot be supporting the enthronement of thugs. You cannot be supporting the enthronement of people who beat up our mothers and our fathers in the marketplace. You have become too old for those kinds of things now. It's time to beat a retreat. That's how I want to open the
Thank you
show
very
today.
much, Mr. Crusoe. I can see that what I went through last week is exactly what you're going through now. Because sometimes when
Yeah,
you have this sinus thing, your mouth
yeah,
you can't speak well, so
it's,
you can sometimes mute, excuse us for
yes.
for some seconds, and just do touch your nose. You know how the thing they
No
work. Then
wahala,
come back. It's a
no
family
wahala.
platform, so feel free.
I have a handkerchief here. I will clean my nose if I need to. But
Go
but
ahead.
but
So
I need to engage our people today
yes,
because Edowe Aragwa Arawu
awu amagua.
Amanare Gwa Ayewu. So it's better
So
for us to talk
yes, so.
because everybody must go to be with the Lord at some point in their lives.
Yes, yes. Thank you very much, Mr. Crusoe. You know, the 100 days, or the old talk about the 100 days of Obaseki out of office and 100 days of the INEC Waka Waka governor in office today has been trending on Facebook, TikTok, WhatsApp, all platforms, Twitter in the last couple of days. I noticed that this is my opinion, that they really have nothing to show outside acquisition of vehicles. They just acquired vehicles. The man is spending like a nest of king, so they just acquire vehicles. They are spending heavily. They really have nothing to show the people because people are not expecting them to show them vehicles. Now they are trying to push the blame. They are trying to push the blame back to the government you served. You were the spokesperson to the former governor Obazee for almost 8 years. Sir, what is your assessment of Okpebholo's 100 days in office?
Where I'd like to start from is the fact that it is a government of illegality
Okay.
and illegitimacy.
Hmm.
So when something is illegal and illegitimate, it will certainly be chaotic.
Wow.
I'll repeat. It's a government of illegality,
Hmm.
government of illegitimacy, and therefore, inevitably, it's a chaotic government.
Government. Wow.
What do I mean by all of this? Number one, like I said in your last program, Okpebholo did not plan in his life ever to be governor. Okpebholo didn't even have up to 6 months to think about the idea of running for governorship. It was thrust on him by circumstance.
Hmm.
And what is the circumstance that thrusted this governorship on Okpebholo? Ab initio, Oshiomhole wanted to ride with population. He believed that Edo South, where we come from, we have the largest population in the state.
Yes.
Approximately 60, 78, 58 to 60% of the population. So he approached Dennis Idahosa and began to work on him to prepare him to run for governor. But from day one, even during the re-election campaign of Governor Godwin Nogegase Obaseki, he kept on telling the ASAM people that it is in the best interest of Nigeria, of Edo State, for an ASAM man to take over from him, because the state has 3 senatorial districts. We have Edo South that has the largest population. We have Edo North that is next in population. And then we have Edo Central that is the smallest. But whether it is smallest or not, the state is already divided into 3 parts. Edo South, 57, 58%. Edo North, 28 to 30%. Edo Central, 15 to 18%. So Oshiomhole had been governor for 8 years. Obaseki has been governor for 8 years. But no governor had come from Edo Central. So Obaseki thought it was best for the governor to come from there. So from 2020, the governor started to ring the alarm that he thought it was the best idea. Oshiomhole thought that he will bring the Dennis Idahosa of this world to challenge the ASAM man that will come from the governor's side, from the PDP, and that the Benin's will, out of sentiment, follow the Benin man and abandon the ASAM man. But Obaseki didn't give up. He kept on pushing. He met Edo people. He explained to Benin people that, look, yes, we are the strongest in terms of numbers, does not mean we should be bullies. We have to give everybody opportunity. And guess what? the Benin's bought the message from Obaseki. Once Oshomole saw that the Benin's had bought Obaseki's message, he was in a fix. He was already pushing Dennis Idahosa. So at the end of the day, they had to go to Abuja. He defended his position to the president, saying that Benin's are the most the populous, we have the largest population. But they prevailed on him to allow Asa to be governor. That is how, in the process of all of this, Okpewolo saw an opportunity and threw himself in there. So back to the statement I started with, he didn't even have 6 months to think about being governor. My brother, the Bible says there is no one who builds a house that does not count the cost. If you are going to build another house, you will sit down and write, I will do foundation. I will need 10 blocks. Let alone running a whole state. No thinking, no soul searching. It just happened on the position. So therefore, it led to a very difficult campaign for him. The fact that he's very taciturn, he does not really talk, or he cannot really talk, was a major setback for him. And so he floundered in the elections and lost woefully, despite the huge funding they got from the federal government and the huge support he got from the federal government. Having floundered so badly, they had to do the unimaginable to give themselves the election. They literally forced some people within INEC to print new result sheets and result materials for them, and hurriedly rewrote fake results and announced Okpewolo as governor. And therefore, they gave Okpewolo an illegitimate mandate. So with an illegitimate mandate, for somebody who did not plan for the government, what are you expecting that will happen? It has been a haphazard government. I will begin with the first things they did when they came into office. Once they declared themselves as winners of the election, Obaseki was like, okay, fine. There are avenues for us to seek redress. We will
Yes.
explore these avenues. But in the meantime, there is a transition committee. All of you come. Let us sit together so that we can show you exactly what has happened in this state for the past 8 years. You are a witness, Albert. Your media company was supposed to provide live coverage,
Yes.
free of charge.
Free of charge for the 2 weeks.
For the 2 weeks. But what happened? After the first day,
yes,
they disappeared.
They disappeared.
They disappeared. They refused to come back. I even hear that some of them were saying there's no sitting allowance.
Yes, we heard it too.
Yes, some of them were saying there was no sitting allowance. The Obaseki said we don't pay sitting allowance in Edo State. And so they took off. So they didn't even have the opportunity to understand what was on ground. So they descended into the arena. And like a bull in the china shop, Okpewolo began to smash up everything he found in Edo State.
Right.
The first step he took was to disengage almost 5,000 people from the state government service. What was their scene? Their scene was that they were employed by the previous administration, period. These people were not politicians. These people did not know anything about the governor. They are not his brother. They are not his sister. They were all employed into government through a very competitive process. Adverts were put out, they applied, they did examinations, they passed, they were interviewed, and they were absorbed into the civil service at different levels. He disengaged all of them. Some of them were in the Nigerian Observer. Some of them were in the John Odiga Oyegu Trading Center. Some of them were in the health insurance scheme. Some of them were in Edo GIS. Different many of them were in Ministry of Fiscal Planning. Many of them were teachers. They just sacked them, removed their names from the payroll, disengaged them. Once that happened, they threw themselves into chaos because many of these people were eggheads that were employed by the government primarily because of the expertise that they possess. So what then happened? The government was in chaos. The Edo had gone fully digital under Obazee. We didn't do anything anymore with papers. We worked on computers. But because they sacked the MD of the Edo, we call it, what's the name of that agency? It's called ICT Agency, Edo ICT Agency. The name of the managing director of that agency was a public servant. Is Mr. Igbinedio, a Benin man. They sacked him. And sacked many people in his agency. So they couldn't operate eGov. I hear the half-witted SSG of the current government go from television station to television station to tell lies. But the question you should ask him the next time you go to his office or send somebody to his office, ask him, what are all these files doing on your desk? I repeat, the next time you go to the office of the SSG, the current SSG, they call him Musa Ikilo. Ask him, what are all these files doing on your desk?
Look at the one civil servant sent to me today. A civil servant sent me this picture. In fact, let me screenshot his message. I will cover his number. He said, Abba, this is Okpewolo's 100 days in office. We are back to files.
Back to files.
We are
during the Obazee,
yes.
During the Obazee administration, with less than 22 billion naira invested in Tier 3 data center, fiber optic cable laid across the 18 local governments of Edo State, computers bought for every ministry, department, and agency, firewall for cybersecurity laid across the entire state, an elaborate ERP, Edo.gov, introduced across the entire state. Edo State became the first state in Nigeria to go full paperless. We ran a digital government. In other words, nobody could come to you and tell you that your proposal or your file or whatever you submitted to government is missing. Because once you submit it through the eGov and the trail will be there. So that's where the chaos started. They lost control of the government because they could not run a digital system. So that's number one. So where did we start from? We're talking about their failures.
Yes.
100 days in office. I said the first thing they did was to sack the people.
And they met in the system.
Yes, because they sacked the people, they lost control of eGov, which was the platform for carrying out government business. So they could not do anything. Then, after that, what happened? They descended on our market women. They interfered in this institutional arrangement for market administration in Edo State. They fired the Iyeki of Edo State, the woman that organizes all the market women across Benin City and across Edo State, in the person of Madam Blackie. And then they brought some illegitimate woman to come and take over from her. Introduced levies and taxes on these women and started to punish them. Why did I start from there? Because the revenue that you are going to gather for government, it begins from the marketplaces. From Agbado to Mission Road to James Watt to Forestry to Oba Market to Liha to Ekiusa. That's where you get the revenues from. They dislodge the markets. Kicked many women out of their shops, kicked many men out of their markets, started toppling this institutional system that they met on the ground. After that, what did they do? They descended on the taxi drivers, the bus drivers, the transport people who moved the economy. I repeat, the people who moved the Edo State economy. They descended on them. They unleashed the lions and tigers, the Kabakas of this world, the noble lessons of this world, the Ebo Amagba of this world, and
No,
descended
Ebo Agbero.
Ebo Agbero.
Not Ebo Amagba.
They started to attack them. They started to beat them up. You have played several videos for us on your shows. Recently, you played one about one driver that was being beaten up.
Yes.
That ITV captured the incident.
Yes.
So it took care. So I've talked about how they dislodge the operation of government. I've talked about how they dislodge the marketplaces, the economic powerhouses. I've talked about how they dislodge the people who transport, the people who move the economy. Are you following me now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, what else did they do? They stopped paying the contractors. We are just rounding up the dry season now. They took over office from Governor Obazee on the 11th of November. And that was the heart of the dry season. If they had planned their entrance into government, they were supposed to start working on roads from day one, but they did nothing. They did nothing. All the work that's still going on in Edo State and all the jobs that Obaseki paid for, they have not been able to pay for any work since then. So, Edo people, get ready for a very difficult rainy season.
Hi.
I repeat, it is not a threat. I'm not a soothsayer. Well, I'm just telling you, it's natural cause of events, cause and effect. They have not done any road. They've not cleared any drainages. They've not fixed any road in the past 3 months. And we usually have only 4 or 5 months of dry season in Edo State. If you don't fix the road and clear the drainages during that period, you're going to have a terrible rainy season. So in Edo State, when the rains come, they're going to have a very hard time. Let me have a sip of water. We have talked about roads. When you ask them, what have you done with respect to road, they will say they are doing flyover in Ramat Park. But they forget to tell the people that Ramat Park is a federal government project. Go and find out. The next thing they will tell you is that they are doing Bini Auchi Road. But they forget to tell you that Bini Auchi Road is a federal government project. Then they will say they are doing airport Sapele Road. They also forget to mention to you that Sapele Road is a what? Federal government project. The next thing they will say is that
the minister was there today.
Okay.
The minister, Umahi, was in all these projects that they are claiming.
Okay.
The minister was in Edo today. They thought they brought him to deceive the people. They don't say they used to cotton food. They said the minister was in the project where they claim say that they do. The minister was there today.
Because they are federal government projects. If you ask them, say they will say, is it not in our tenure that they are doing it? Does it matter? Why did they not do it last tenure? Is it not the same Edo people they are doing it for?
At least now, I don't even believe that the federal government under Tinubu, they've been playing politics with Edo people. Now it's clear.
Yes. That's it. So, but the question we are asking him is, okay, that is federal government work. Where is the one that we gave you money to do for
So
us?
do, where's your own?
You presented a budget sometime last year where you found
Yes,
it difficult to read the figures of the budget. Okay, you caused us a national embarrassment by, by, by with respect to the fact that you cannot mention numbers. We are forgiving you for that one. The numbers you mentioned, what are you doing with the money? Are you following me now?
yes,
So if they've done that, so I've told you how they sacked the civil service people. I've told you how they disrupted the market women. I've told you
yes,
how they disrupted the transportation system. I have now told you how they have short-circuited all the infrastructure work that was going on in the state by refusing to pay contractors. The
contractors.
contractors that are still working today are working because of the monies they got from Obazee. Once all those monies are exhausted, they are going to stop. Are you following me now?
Yes, sir.
Then let's go to the health sector. Remember that for the first time in the past 10 years, doctors went on strike in Edo during this administration. Why did they go on strike? Jared Tenebe, the chairman of APC in Edo State, foisted his younger brother, who is not qualified, he's not a doctor, on the people of Edo State as the chief executive of the Edo State Hospital Management Agency. And doctors, you know them, they are very learned people. These are people who spent their entire lives studying. They're like, you cannot bring a quasi-illiterate to come and superintend over consultants and professors as head of their own hospital management agency. They had to go on strike in this administration. What about the health insurance scheme? Have they not since sacked the Benima that was there, the son of Amego,
Rock Amego,
Rock, Dr. Rock Amego?
Dr. Rock.
They have long sacked him, and they have bungled the health insurance scheme of Edo State. As we speak today, all the film production companies that found a home in Edo where they come and shoot all their movies and do all their productions at the Victor Eiffel Creative Hub. They book our hotels and our accommodations. They employ our youths and they shoot all their movies. They have moved all their auditions for this year, 2025, to Uyo, Lagos, Asaba. Benin City and Edo State is conspicuously absent. It is the first time in the past 6 years that will happen. The, the headway we're beginning to make in the creative industry lost by this administration because they have no clue